Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. A few days ago, I posted my best and worst books I read in 2020 so far. So I wanted to do the same for movies and TV shows. It was actually really hard to narrow down the list for the best stuff just because I rated so many things 4 stars and above. I was either like really kind this year, or maybe I really did watch that many good stuff. I've talked about these in wrap-ups before, so I'm going to try to be fast about this. And as for like the numbers, it's just to help me like remember the titles and where I'm at. They're not like actual rankings, but I did try to group like the 5 stars together and then the 4 stars together. Number 1, we have Love Lasts Forever. This is a Japanese drama and it just gave me all the feels. I gave it a 5 out of 5. In short, it's about a cold doctor and like the new and like happy-go-lucky nurse. Sometimes shoujo manga turned into live action can go really bad. It can get really like cheesy and like over exaggerated acting, but I think with this one it really came in strong and just stole my heart. I literally, like, I felt like it used every single shoujo manga romance trope you can think of, and it had me squealing and cheesing like a teenage girl experiencing first love. Now I know this drama isn't for everyone. The main guy is a jerk and the main girl is pretty dumb, and there is like a bully romance aspect to it. The story is cliche and it has that like classic shoujo feel to it, but for me, I think I watched this in February when it came out. Like, I don't know, it just really worked for me and it was what I needed at that time. The like mean and cold doctor is played by Takeru Sato, who is Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin, and he's really awesome. And the nurse is played by the voice actress for Mitsuha from the hit Your Name or Kimi no Na wa. So honestly, the cast is actually really great. I really love the story, and like I said, I gave this a 5 out of 5. Number 2 is Clueless. Netflix has brought Clueless back to the American audiences, and honestly, this is one of my like favorite films of all time, so I obviously had to rewatch it like when I saw that Netflix had brought it back. It's freaking fantastic. The fashion is amazing, and it's, I believe, a modern retelling of Emma by Jane Austen, which is one of my favorite Jane Austen books. So yeah, Clueless can do no wrong. Once again, 5 out of 5. Number 3 is Our Song Woman the Good. This is a Chinese variety singing competition show, and it's freaking fantastic. I gave this a 4.8 out of 5. So pretty much the show pairs up a veteran singer with someone who's, I wouldn't say new, but like someone younger, and everyone is super talented. This group that they have, everyone is just really nice and they have great banter with each other, so it's just really like easy and fun to watch. Every episode is filled with orgasms and there's just no cattiness, and so it's like it's just really chill just listening to good duets. I highly recommend it. My favorite duo is Hacken Lee and Joshin, and I also thought it was really cool that the handsome actor from The Untamed Xiao Zhan is here, and there's just so many other recognizable faces if you do listen to Chinese music. Plus, supposedly, because you never know with these things, it's one of the last like singing things Fei Yuqing will do before retirement, so go watch this. A lot of the songs that they sing are older Chinese songs, so there's like that nostalgic feel to it too. Be introduced to potential new singers and to see like old singers that you might have previously loved but haven't been listening to. Yeah, my dad really enjoyed it, and I know a bunch of other people did too. Number 4, Chewing Gum Seasons 1 and 2. I was over at my friend's Jackie's place, and she was recommending me the show, and seriously, she knows me so well. We just started playing it, and it was a rewatch for her, and it was new for me, and then another friend joined us and started watching, and the 3 of us were just like really into it, and we like almost finished the first season together. So we literally almost binge watched the first season together. It's super funny, cleverly written and just really well acted. I was just so blown away. I gave the first and second season a 4.5 out of 5. I was shocked that the seasons did so well in my book, just because like sometimes like a show with like, if it did so well the first season, you don't know if it'll like match up with the second season. But no, the show has consistency, and I really wish that there was more, but sadly that's it. There's only like 2 seasons. But the premise of this, you meet this young black woman living in a low-income area with a very religious mother and a socially awkward sister as she attempts to lose her virginity. I know, like, just listening to the setup, like, don't you think it's super funny? Because it is. Number 5 is Eternal Love. In Chinese is 三生三世十里桃花, and it's a really long Chinese epic romance drama between 2 god deities, which spans between 3 lives, yeah. I was gonna say 3 lifespans, but yeah, it's freaking epic. And I fell for it so hard, especially the first time I saw it, because this was a rewatch, and as like a rewatch, it was still like very good. When my favorite parts were about to happen, like I was super excited. The clothing, gorgeous. The acting, solid. The OST, superb. Like, the romance in here was so dreamy and yet heartbreaking. The backdrops, sometimes they looked a little fake, but they were like stunning, and you like get where they were trying to go with this, you know. I do have a longer video review for Eternal Love, which I will link down below if you are interested. And as for the second time of rewatching it, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Number 6 is Ratatouille, and I know it took until 2020 and Disney Plus for me to finally watch this movie, and I loved it. Like, I was like pleasantly shocked by how much I loved it, because it's really cute, it's really sweet, and it was just so adorable and just really just like a nice time. I like the characters, I like the stories. I think it was very like inspiring and motivating, and I ended up giving this a 4.5 out of 5. Number 7 is Descendants 1 and 2. Yes, number 3 is not on this list, but if you've already seen 1 and 2, I don't know why you wouldn't go watch 3. Anyways, I am a big fan of Dove Cameron, and I think she was just absolutely stellar as Mal. I love the costumes, the dances, the songs, the friendship, and the message. I gave the first film, which was a rewatch, a 4 out of 5, and the second one, I think it did a little bit better, so I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. For me, this was just another really solid and fantastic movie musical from Kenny Ortega, and even though like I'm no longer the demographic for this movie, I think it still really just was like, it was just like a really fun time for me, and I just really enjoyed it. Number 8 is the Princess Diaries 1 and the Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. I was rewatching this with a friend, and we like both just like really enjoyed it. We're like, wow, it is as awesome as we remembered from before. It's funny, uplifting, and didn't fail that dose of nostalgia. I really wish that we were able to get a third movie. I think that would be really awesome. Anyways, I gave the first one a 4.5 out of 5, and then the second one a 4 out of 5. Number 9 is Never Have I Ever. I have a really long written review for this, which I will link down below if you're interested in like my specific thoughts for specific things. Honestly, overall, I just thought this was fun and funny. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it a 4.1 out of 5. And don't hate me, but I am Team Paxton HY. Number 10 is Fringe Season 1. I was on Instagram and randomly a clip of Fringe showed up, and I was just like, wow, this looks really interesting. So I decided to see if it was on any like streaming sites, and it was on Amazon, and I have no regrets. This show is just such an amazing sci-fi adventure with really strong and well written human connections. It's just such like a journey, like a ride, and I gave the first season a 4 out of 5, And right now, as I am filming this, I've already started watching season 4. That's it for the 10 best. Moving on, it should be 5 worst, but then I added 1, so it's 6. But technically it's 7, whatever. Worst is worst. Let's get discussing. Number 1 is Cinderella, an enchanted beginning. I gave this bad boy a 0.5 out of 5. If anything else in 2020 can try and manage to beat this, I will be absolutely floored. This came off as like a terribly made, an underfunded student film. If it was a student film, I apologize. I can tell that you really tried. Sadly, it didn't work. The acting was super cringe, and the prince character looked like he didn't even want to be a part of this production. I read a comment that said that this movie looked like it was just filmed in one location, and honestly, I can believe that it was just filmed in one like apartment complex of sorts. Honestly, don't call yourself a modern Cinderella tale when your supposed grand ball is a lame house party with 2 or only 3 guests. Like, that doesn't and then I watched this with my sister, and I just remember both of us were just like, oh god, this is bad. This is bad. And I told my sister, I was like, can we stop watching this? She's like, no, let's just keep and see. And it never got any better. It was just all around like just like a really bad movie. Number 2, it's Neon Genesis Evangelion and the End of Evangelion. So it's the anime and then the movie End. Before Cinderella, an enchanted beginning murdered my sanity, I really thought nothing would beat these two for the worst things I watched in 2020. I gave both of them a 1 out of 5. Obviously, it's no longer the worst. But sadly, both the anime and the movie just did not work for me. I don't want to go into too much detail here because I do have a video review for both of them, which I will link down below. I do think that the movie was a little bit better in my opinion than the anime, but yeah, like I said, I don't want to go into too much like hater details here. Number 3 is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. I recently finished this middle grade series this year, and it was actually a really good like book series. I was so shocked that I was like, wow, I don't know what's wrong with me. Why didn't I pick this up earlier? And so I was like, now that I'm done reading the books, let's go watch the movie. So imagine my disappointment heading into the movie and realizing that the movie is nothing like the books at all. And it's like, not that the movie people can't take liberties, they can, but they legitly changed it and made it into something entirely just horrible. They went and just butchered this series that I just finished reading and I really liked, and that's unforgivable. Why did they do that? They had such good like material from the books. Why couldn't they just follow the books a little bit more closely? I don't understand. I gave this a 1 out of 5. Number 4 is After the Ball. So this was another Cinderella retelling movie that my sister and I consumed in the month of May. I will link that wrap up down below if you're interested in all the other Cinderella things that we watched, and the good and the bad. So this movie is about fashion, and the clothing here was really basic and not even that like good looking. There was no chemistry between the two leads, which is very difficult to sit through for a romance movie. There was a gender bent quality to this that I did not understand why it was there, and this movie was just too long for its own good. I ended up giving this a 1.5 out of 5, and my sister didn't like this either. She also thought it was like, after a while she's like, it's still going on. Yeah. Number 5 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I watched this in theaters with my friend, and I just remember, because this was he was rewatching it, and I just remember turning to him all the time being like, I'm so disappointed, I'm so disappointed, I'm so disappointed. Yeah, I didn't like the story about Rey's birth parents. I didn't like the fact that Rose was being like pushed back onto the sidelines as a pretty much almost non-existent character, and I really didn't like the dumb romance plot lines added in that just didn't work. I ended up giving this a 2 out of 5. Number 6 is The Treasured Voice. I think the Chinese name was 天赐的声音. This is another Chinese singing competition reality show. However, unlike the one I mentioned in my best, this one really sucked. The rules kept changing as the show went on, which is never cool. Plus, I get that filming happened and during COVID-19, but if the duets are just people singing over the webcam, then you really lost like the original intention of the show. Yes, it's another like duet singing program as well. I think one of the things is that you can tell a lot of the pairs felt really forced and that the judging panel was unnecessarily mean, and the finale, one word, cheap. It just like sucked because I really like the singers that were like the permanent fixtures, the ones that were like picking the partners. I think they were really great choices, but that was like the only thing it had going for it. Although it introduced me to like some great songs and some decent covers, I just felt like this show, like it was like drama to be drama, and then it just lost its way of what it wanted to do and what it wanted to achieve, and I ended up giving it a 2.5 out of 5, which is pretty friendly still. That's it. That's the best and worst things I've seen in 2020 so far. I know I was a little quick with each title. I didn't want to sound repetitive since, like I said, I've talked about them in wrap-ups and most of them have reviews on my blog, so that's why I kind of wanted to be fast about this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I know that right now the news, particularly in the US, is very difficult to watch, but I hope that everyone will choose to stay informed and do their part as a human being. And that's it. Outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video, whenever that is. Bye! Sometimes